Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Now today is a special commemorative edition and regulars will notice I'm going to be breaking a couple of the normal rules of What's Map. There's also a slightly extended intro into today's show which I encourage you not to skip on this particular occasion. Last week we lost one of the most iconic map makers in the Cities Skylines community. After a prolonged battle with cancer, Ikanya passed away the weekend before last. I'm sure you guys in the What's Map community will join me in sending our condolences to any family or close friends who might just be watching the show. Ikanya was a character, a gentleman of advancing years from a little place just outside of Stockholm in Sweden. He had a true love for creating fantasy maps, for beer, and for otters. And I'm sure many of you will know about his oft mentioned mini BonBonB. In terms of map making, Ikanya introduced us to the Magic Tunnel, an underground passage that would emerge anywhere but where you would expect it to. He was the wizard of complex waterfall systems and had those stunning meringue peak mountains throughout his advanced work. You could spot an Ikanya map from the overhead view alone, and you just know when you've cracked it when Biffa uses your map in a city build. I actually had the honour of interviewing Ikanya for my old chat show Skylines Talk. Now to be honest, it is quite a tough listen due to the quality of Ikanya's mic. Plus English being a second language, his speech was very deliberate and punctuated. I spent hours cleaning up the recording and even so it was only just clear enough to share on the channel. I will link in the interview in the top right hand corner of your screen now if anybody wants to go back and watch this. Meanwhile, here's a short snippet where Ikanya explains some of the techniques that he used in his latter maps.
You want to know why the last one is so special? That's because I use a different method to make those last maps. I make a height map, then I export the height map to Photoshop, and then I will build the mountains to the height map in Photoshop. Or I will use terrain party. I will take some mountains from interesting parts in the world, and then I will merge those maps. Mountains from different height maps from terrain party, and then I will move them up with Photoshop.
Ikanya was a complex, creative and contentious character. I myself will miss him. His gift to us is a wealth of maps and themes which are iconic to this day, getting more and more complex as his creations progressed. But we've never looked back at his really early work, and we've never ever at his earliest. There seems to be a beautiful symmetry about using this show to check out that very first map, and so that's what we'll be doing today. Now I know it should go completely without saying given that we're all adults and everything, but today is definitely a day to be kind in the comments. Now I know not everybody here got on particularly well with Ikanya, and I myself had a falling out with him also, but I removed that from the eulogy. It wasn't the original draft, I removed it. It's not the place. It's not the place. And if you don't like their map, well, there is one thing.
It's my first map.
It was their first map, so they were a beginner, just like you and I were both beginners once. So let's get on and enjoy today's show, shall we? That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for that support. Today's map is Valley of the Golden Falls by Ikanya, their very first map on the workshop. And you can see a lot of the hints towards where they would evolve from this map. There's your start square, fields and highway entrance on the right hand side there, just pointing in from the edge there. Terrain heights, very interesting, a very interesting looking first map, one has to say there. Little divots there in the water, we'll see that later possibly. There you've got field painting. Yeah, some of you will like field painting, some of you won't, okay? Then fishing, if you've got Sunset Harbour, which there certainly wasn't back then, this is what your fishing legend would look like. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a 100% vanilla map, although you will want the unlimited tree mod. Now, technically speaking, I should be using the vanilla temperate theme here, but given the special circumstances, I'm going to be using the Aguil Vert theme, which is another one of the little treats that Ikanya left us. So yes, this map is going to look better than it would do if you're using the correct theme. And oh, the LUT is of course a realistic 1.2 LUT. It couldn't be anything else really, could it? Okay, so let's go there. Now I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I don't think this would be a true show. I'm sure Ikanya wouldn't appreciate me going, oh, this is all perfect and la la la. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He would appreciate my honesty. And yes, it's a first map, so we know that Ikanya moved on from some of the standards that you'll see today. But you'll also see hints in today's show which will say this is going to become a creator, a true iconic creator. Somebody that makes maps that you just look at the thumbnail and go, yep, that's Ikanya, and not in a bad way. Now, obviously, not all of their maps were, oh, a little bit wibbly on the highway here. Not all of their maps were to people's tastes, and some people just don't like fantasy maps, and therefore you'd never play them. Oh, it's the first hint towards a magic tunnel. Now, magic tunnels normally go out one place, come out the other. Here it's being used to transition down a great old cliff there. Obviously, not plausible. It's a direct line, pretty much as well. So, yeah, we've avoided any clipping through the cliff, so that is good work as well. We've got possibly a bit of jinky-janky there as we go to the elevated section, and then the elevated section is very nice, very cleanly done, and comes down to ground fairly smoothly as well, so no real complaints about that. Through the fields towards our first now, intersection here is a little bit interesting. I think we'll say, I was going to say odd, but interesting. It's a roundabout with an extra spinny off bit down there as well. Should handle a good amount of traffic. The traffic just loops around. Bit of jinky janky as well as we come off the spinny off bit onto the highway right there. But again, not horrendous really, is it? So yes, an interesting first intersection there. The next one will be very similar to that one, but not so polished. If you think that was not polished, this is going to be less polished. We have a suspension bridge transition here, which honestly I don't like this at all. I just don't like it. Elevated road here would have been better, extending it out over a bit, maybe going into a cutting in the cliff possibly. Lots of things, or even a magic tunnel, maybe. I mean, the options were there. Okay, heading across the environment again, a bit wibbly with the highways here, just drifting off slightly on the left hand side. Transition up to the next level using elevated highways. Yeah, I probably would have gone an embankment personally. That's just me. But again, I'm not being critical because this was a long time ago and you want to see my first map. Actually, you don't now, do you? No. Okay, here's that next intersection. Yeah. Okay, very similar to the first one with the extra highway connection coming up the inside. Honestly, it's ugly. It's ugly, I tell you. But it would work. It would work. That's a functional intersection. I don't think we can complain too much there. Okay, now heading up towards a bridge, a suspension bridge. How's this looking? It's all right, I guess. A bit wonky on the left there. Of course, a central pillar as well would look better with a pillar on either side. But again, as vanilla early suspension bridges go, that one's okay. And again, we've got another one very similar here. Similar sort of things. Possibly starts a little bit too early. But other than that, it's fine. Highways, again, we're going a bit of a long route to the start square here because there was plenty of talking points, and that's often the reason for staying on the highways, is to say, hey, look at this, and look at that, and oh, isn't this crazy? Now, also, this is possibly my least favourite part of the map here. We're going elevated. Why are we going elevated? To go over the trees, maybe? Bit wonky there as we go up into the air. No, we're going elevated so we can get over the rail, but look at this. Look at this. Elevated to go down the hill. And then over the rail. Now, there are many ways that you could have attacked this one. I'm just suggesting a magic tunnel would have been absolutely ideal just to get past the hill and the rail there and emerge just before the bridge. But no, we've got a rather ugly drop there. Early maps, aren't they great? Aren't they great? I think so. The thing is, Ikanya has learnt from these early maps and evolved, and it just became so clean and so crisp, and so close to all-star map status as well. I remember there was this one map, and it was literally just a pillar. Oh, slight jinky janky there. It was one pillar on a bridge. It was outside of the 25 tiles, but it was huge shipping clipping, and I couldn't overlook it. I couldn't just let it go, and that was the only thing that stopped that map from being all-star. I was so sad, so sad. Again, slight the bridge wasn't aligned with the highway, so it all got shunted across a little bit there. That could have been progressed from a bit further back, I feel. Again, magic tunnels here, which is going to take us up to the main intersection, to not the start square intersection, but the main intersection by the start square. Here it is. Yep, quite happy with this. This is quite clean and crisp. We'll look at the rail in a minute. I know you're looking at the rail going, what do you mean quite happy? And of course the ramps are a little bit steep there. We've got another magic tunnel taking us up to the plateau up here. I do like a plateau. A little bit of a suspension bridge there to get across to our start square area. Our start square roundabout is a little bit, well, odd looking. And I think we might need more than just this one. Easy to upgrade, but you probably want more than just the one down ramp there like that. But it would certainly do to get you started. Not too many complaints there. And then we have, well, I didn't feel anybody else's asset would do, and as Ikanya had only made the one asset, we'll go with that. So today's asset of the day is the Highway On and Off Ramp 16 by Ikanya. Now they've made loads of maps, loads of maps, and of course in terms of themes. And I know there is of course controversy there. I'm steering away from the controversy, please. Thank you very much. There is controversy with certain issues, shall we say, being dealt with long in the past. I'm not defending nor or pointing fingers or anything like that. But the asset review section has to be an asset, and I wouldn't want to take somebody else's asset and put it into today's show, being like it's a eulogy show. So they made this intersection. It's an asset, so we'll roll with that one. Factoids, because factoids, I'm not going to the book today. I'm just going to say Ikanya was from Sweden, and when I play Civilization 6, one of my favourite characters in that is Queen Christina, whose petulance I absolutely love. Anyway, the Highway On and Off Ramp 16 by Ikanya, today's asset of the day. Let's head back to those highways, shall we? Ah, yes, Civilization 6. Queen Christina with her book. She likes her leather-bound books, and I just love the way that she threatens to throw it when she gets into a paddy state. It's lovely. I've got a bit of a crush on a character from Civilization 6. Ah, I do love Christina. Less so Wilhelmina. Oh, I don't like that woman. Nor Victoria, for that matter, actually. But I guess I've never been into plummy ladies. Anyway, where were we? Back to the rail. Now, yeah, I'm not going to point out all the encroaching foliage where there might be some more. To show you the one, that'll do. We've got encroaching foliage on the rail. That's one of them. The rail, it's, well, the magic tunnels were best built for rail because, well, the rail has to follow certain rules normally regarding inclines and gradients and stuff like that. Oh, the intersection on the left here is the asset of the day. Don't worry about that. Nothing funny going on there. We're just going past that one. So yes, magic tunnels were best made for rail because it means that you can break all of the rules on a fantasy map and do something weird with it. Here's probably the weirdest one. It actually emerges over here, down the gradient, and right by the river. An interesting side of the river to come up and out, but it's there. So yeah, early use of the magic tunnels there, and up and over on the intersection there. Yeah. I can moan about that all day. I'm not going to. Then it emerges down again down the bottom of another gradient. So again, using the hidden tunnel to get past the gradient. So it's a reasonable reason for using magic tunnel. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of it. I'd rather see a more creative, more accurate approach. But yeah, I minor grumbles. Then you're going to see a rather ugly transition here as we come up. I mean, here probably a magic tunnel would have been better because again we're going up the gradient. So yes, more creative. I want more creative means. I just want better creative means than that. Around here we do a little loop-de-loop, and now we're heading off roughly towards the edge of the map, I feel. So what we're going to do, when we take the intermission, I figured, as this is a My First Map, a nice fields going on here, of course. As this is a My First Map, oh, hidden tunnel, magic tunnel, where are you coming out? Oh, just down the gradient, okay. I figured My First Intermission would be the way to go. So yes, we'll do a My First Intermission. We'll come back, do the rest of the map. Still plenty of things to look at, of course. And I've got a slightly precarious rail route around the side of the mountain here as well. I feel this was slightly rushed also. Anyway, intermission coming up. I will come back, do the second half of today's show. Plenty more to check out with today's map. I promise you of that. Good work from Ikanya. Very good work.
Do your cul-de-sacs look like this? Do you want them to look like this? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to the Perfect Cul-de-sacs by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so back to Valley of the Golden Falls by Ikanya and the shipping routes. Well, it's got shipping routes on both sides of the landmass. This is the longer one. This just like goes from one side to the other. I'm quite happy in terms of the route that it takes. It's a sensible distance from the coast, then across the other side, and you can see here again a reasonable distance from the coast and loops around and out off the edge of the map over here. Okay, water flow. Now, Ikanya became the wizard of water flow. They did some really technical, beautiful stuff. I cannot floor their latter work. I can't really floor this too much. This is moving water through the start square, so that is going to please all of you that like to pump and drain into a river. So there is all good. That goes out into the bay there, so no issues with that. Now, in terms of water, we've got some very interesting waterworks early. Interesting, not interesting as in the great stuff, but things like here where the river splits. Okay, fantasy map, so we'll let this happen. And we've got this triple waterfall going on here again, in vanilla temperate, which is what we should be looking at. That would look a bit there. It looks okay actually with the wheel there, so I'm happy with that. I love the little island in that lake there as well. Then we have a pond here, which of course is feeding water down this way, and we'll just follow it again. Nice. All these rivers are breaking up, of course, the layout of the map, meaning that you can't go full on grid city, which is also very good, especially when you've got a flat map. Now, I'd say that water was feeding down here. Have a look, though. It's actually feeding back. And this would be my main grumble with this map. I would rather have there been a water spawn point at the top in that lake, feeding down and out. I think it would have made it slightly more realistic. This lake up here, we can see we've got a bit of snow on the side of the lake. Now, this is because of the Guilvaire theme, which I shouldn't be using, so no fault on Ikanya here. But obviously they were going to be using sand around the lakes, and then they changed their mind, removed the sand, missed a little bit, which you wouldn't normally notice apart from when it's bright white when somebody uses the wrong theme later on. We've got the two exits out of the lake here, two drain points. Now, this isn't realistic, but it's a fantasy map, so we can let it. It's a first map as well, and other creators have done similar things in their first maps, like don't look at Merrickstowe, okay? Just don't go look at my first map. 3 drain points, although one was dammed off, but 3 drain points. Okay, right, so taking the picky out myself here as well. Early hills and mountains from Ikanya are not most exciting, and certainly the tree painting up here is a bit, well, blotchy, okay? But they got way better, so I'm not picking holes here. And then field painting, again, we're using Guilvaire, so this is going to pop a little bit more down with the vanilla themes. But yeah, if you're into painted fields for detailing, I guess they look great. I guess they look all right. They're certainly interesting enough, and I'm happy with all of that. What more have we got on this map? I'm sure there's more stuff that we haven't had a look at. Yeah, plenty of space in the middle of the map to build. Oh, here's the thing. Plenty of space in the middle of the map to build, but the start square, when I find it, is, well, it's somewhat off-center. Somewhere down here. I've got to find it. It's up this highway over here. Right, so here's your start square intersection, and it is literally in the corner of the 25 tiles. So there's only 2 tiles off to the left there, 2 tiles behind it. if you play vanilla rules here, which I fully encourage everybody to do, you're going to have to buy that as your second tile, which is okay. Or that as your second tile, which is okay. But those are your options. And then, of course, say we bought this tile, our next tile is going to be that one ahead or that one. It reduces the options, I feel, on a map that doesn't need... It's a perfectly good mechanic on some maps. On this map, I don't feel it was really needed. Anyway, your chance to vote on the map. I thought about including a vote on today's map. I feel a nod to Ikanya. Now, be honest, I don't think they'd want your sympathy vote here. But if you click on that I button, it'll take you to the voting page. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Be honest, they would not want a pity vote. They were a proud creator. Thank you, Sirens there. Very nice. And off to the voting page for me. Now, while I'm encouraging you to vote, and vote honestly, I'm not going to. I don't feel it's appropriate for me to actually give this one any ratings. So I'm going to back down. I'm going to back down. I'm just going to say that yes, Ikanya, one of the true greats of the Cities Skylines community. While they were certainly one of the true greats, I'm going to miss their work. I just think that we've lost a shining light. And I know that they weren't necessarily the most popular creator out there with certain incidents. Well, I think we'll have to understate these things. They were, when you got down to talking to them and messaging them and whatever, they were nice. They were nice. And that's all you can ask of a person in today's world. So, Valley of the Golden Falls by Ikanya gets no ratings from me whatsoever. These aren't 0 stars. These are no ratings from me. And that was their very, very first map. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. And remember, be kind in the comments. Say nice things. What was your favourite Ikanya map? There's a good thing to say. What was your favourite? Meanwhile, if you're still here, you're in the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day there in the comments down below. You are part of our secret society, so don't talk about this in the comments. Just use the word. That will be good. And I'll see you tomorrow for another map in the What's Map series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.